Why, thank you for helping. I don't know how I'd have opened these old doors. You think they would have modernized the building with all the high-tech research going on here? The 25-year-old student just smiled and agreed with the statement. Now that is a cute little guy you have there. What is his name? The student bent down to look at the child, but Rob was not happy being examined by someone, especially someone he recognized from his lectures. She was a top-of-the-class student. He had many conversations with after class discussing complex theories about field dynamics and temporal equations. Rob had briefly considered bringing Catherine into the project in a junior role, however its sensitivity has made it implausible. Now she was just another woman in the eyes of a year-old baby. Rob looked up at her with wide eyes and an open mouth. Not sure what his next move should be, Catherine acted immediately. She produced a Kleenex and wiped away a large gob of drool hanging from his chin, making its way onto his shirt. Now he looks much more suave. As she looked down into the eyes of the professor. Someday you are going to make a very cute man with your big dimples. Suddenly Rob became very uncomfortable as this foreign woman stuck her face in his personal space. Frankly, the only person Rob felt comfortable around was Michelle, and he felt a growing panic rising from his gut. This feeling wasn't like his need to poo that gave a low rumble from the same area, but a sense of impending doom that this strange woman represented. Rob didn't understand why he was scared by her. He'd had many discussions with her, and besides, no student had ever scared him like this student did at this moment. As the panic continued to rise in Rob, it felt like it could overflow, causing him to explode. In fact, he wasn't if he might have peed himself, as his diaper seemed warmer than usual. Sheila could also see the telltale signs of a baby in the midst of a panic attack. The fidgeting and grunts of displeasure were enough to let Sheila know he wanted his mommy right now and was not comfortable around her right now. Michelle also recognized her son's discomfort and understood it was time to continue to the lab. Well, we should be off, and thanks again for helping with the door. Sheila just smiled and waved at Rob before disappearing into the crowd. Rob did not wave back as he still didn't like her, at least for the moment. He did feel bad not being more friendly and at least smiling, but for some reason he just was comfortable with a new person today. Michelle pushed the stroller towards the annex where the research labs were located. As they passed through the crowded hallways, Rob noticed an added bonus to his present height. From this position he could see underneath most of the ladies' skirts. Surprisingly, a few did not have underwear, however this was just a passing note that barely registered with Rob. All children at his age didn't care what others wore, and frankly most babies didn't care what they wore either. It did surprise him that the women were not more modest. They must realize he was looking up their skirts, however if they did notice they didn't seem to care. He giggled at the thought of what he might be able to get away with. For the first time Rob saw a bonus to his situation. Imagine the conversations he could overhear because the participants would expect he didn't understand. He daydreamed possible situations, like pulling off a heist with him as the inside man, or maybe a career as a model.